Couple of minutes. Let me know you can hear me, please. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark, I think I forgot to send you, you know what, but it's the same this week. Ah, okay, good, good. All right, let me just set up. Let me get set up. Got a lot of talking to do about this trade. A lot of talking. All right, so I want to welcome everybody in 30 seconds. All right, folks, good morning and welcome to the 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. We're here for the ISM Manufacturing Report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director at 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes only. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. And don't forget, it is possible to lose. All right, so ISM Manufacturing, there was just a Canadian report, but I don't see how you can trade a report at market open. It's a very strange time to have a report released. So there are two reports that I look at this time for this particular trade, ISM, and then 15 minutes before ISM, you have the manufacturing PMI. I'm barely even looking at that report this month because the last four of them, and let me just get my notes. The last four was two no fills the last 2 months, target one in February, and a stop in January. So it's not a report that I'm even interested in trading at this point. And it doesn't even rate very much attention right now. It just hasn't been doing anything for quite a while. So it's on the back burner. And it's marked watch. So, I mean, you watch it. You know, if it starts to move in a positive way, then we'll start to trade it. But right now, it's not really doing anything. That's the manufacturing PMI. It was never an official report for us anyway. So it's not like we're losing a trade. It never was a trade. It was something I watched because it started to move. Never really became anything to write home about. But let's talk about ISM. ISM manufacturing had been one of the most important trades in our portfolio of trades. So I did a little bit of a deep dive into the past 12 reports. Let me just make sure it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Okay, I looked at the last 11 reports. For some reason in May, last May, I think I just forgot to enable the trade and I didn't trade it. Looked like maybe a target one small winner, but I didn't calculate last May into the numbers that I'm going to give you now. So here's what's really interesting about this report. If you look at the last 11 reports, it's 7 winners and 4 losers. Now, that would make you think, wow, I'm trading this report. This is fantastic. But if you dig down deep, it's a losing report. The last 6, we made $260 and lost $460. The last 8, we made $470 and lost $665. And then if you take all 11, we made $75 on 11 reports, not counting commissions and expenses. So this was a losing proposition with the current setup. Okay, the current setup slightly is different today because the entry is 1 second later. Okay, the entry is 1 second later, but this is a setup that it doesn't fit the family money trade. If you've looked at the new schedule, trades are now labeled family money trade. A family money trade is a trade that if I were trading my family's money, I would trade it I would trade their money. Okay. This does not qualify. It does not qualify. Now, what's interesting though, and you have to think about the numbers. If you had traded larger numbers of contracts than we traded, then your wins would have been higher, but so would your losses. So I think if you look at, there are traders that with better trade management than I have, very possibly could have made more money than we did on the report. So you can look at the report as having potential. This report, it certainly still has potential, but there's a disturbing trend, okay? The disturbing trend is this. If you look at the last 5 reports, the last 5, actually the last 6, okay, because I did the last 6 also. The last 5, it only made $160. All the winners in the last 5, none of them were bigger than $80. Only one of them do my notes say that I probably got out early and possibly could have made more money. So the point is, the recent trend of this report is to the negative side. The profits have been smaller. The trades have been poorer. The last 6, we only made $260. We lost $460. The last 8, we made $470 and lost $665. But even more importantly, when you look at the last 5, yes, there were 3 winners, but the biggest one out of the last 5 was a $70 winner in January. So this setup over the whole year has made $75. I really think this report needs a new setup, and especially in light of the fact when you look at the trade last month was one of the most horrible ISM trades I can remember. It stopped out in a second and it filled early. And there was nothing to give you confidence that this setup is currently working, especially with gold. Let me get the right video, sorry. So if you look at ISM in April, it's virtually the same setup as we have today, except the activation is 1 second later. It was a very look at the early move also, 10 minutes before the trade. Gold went pretty wild. But here's the trade in April. I want to be honest. I'm not sure. My charts were very spread apart, so let's ignore that. That's not as meaningful as I thought. But here's the trade last month, and I'm sorry I don't have the news open. Also, the news was on my other chart, on my other monitor. But the trade filled, never hit the target, and I was live, reversed and stopped out in less than 10 seconds. It was an awful trade. That was an awful trade. Okay. Not a good trade. I remember being extremely aggravated. I don't think you can enter, and obviously we're not entering at 58 anymore, but we have an alternative setup that we're testing, and I'm going to trade it today. A year and $75 to me it's a losing setup. So the setup, why keep banging your head against the wall? It may come back and work perfectly today. It might. It very well might. But these winners are very deceptive. 3-1 was $40, 2-1 was $50, and 1-5 was $70. Even though they had these tick moves, it was chop and back and forth movement. It wasn't a straight shot where you hit all your targets and made $200 to $300 per trade with 2 or 3 contracts. That's not what happened. Okay, that's not what happened. They were tiny winners, and then the losers were full stops. So they were big losers, bigger losers than winners. So yes, you can trade this. It's a slightly different entry by 1 second. Is that 1 second going to make the difference? It wouldn't last month, in my opinion. It wouldn't have mattered. It's a setup. No matter how you look at it with the analysis, it's not a winner. Okay? It's not a winner because the size of the winners was very small and the losers have been big, and it has not been acting like a prime trade used to act. A prime trade was a trade that made good money more than 65, 70% of the time. It wasn't just a $50 winner. Now, yes, you're allowed to have occasional $50 and $60 winners when you're a 70 or 80% winning trade. But I just don't count a prime trade with a $75 profit over the whole year, because that's not even a profit when you factor in all your expenses. So I'm sorry to say, this is not a family money trade right now. I don't recommend that people trade it with our current setup because it's not returning a good enough profit. That's what I said I was going to do for the next month. Okay, minimally for the next month, we're only going to recommend trades that have been winners, not losers. Okay, that's the way I'm trading this month. That might mean less trades, less live trades, but I'll also do some live testing because we need to know if all the time we're spending on new setups is viable. And the only way you know for sure is by trading live. So we have a new setup on this trade with the trap trade. All right. And I don't want anybody trading the trap trade live until the new software comes out. It'll be out in a week. I would prefer if people wait for the new version, just trade in sim on the trap trades. So in the testing of ISM on the trap trade, it's not bad. It's not bad. In April, a losing trade could have been a winner with the trap trade. In March, the trap trade had the potential to be a winner. And March was a little bit scary. Looked like it was going to stop us out. March was not a big trap trade winner. But if you were patient, let's take a look at manufacturing PMI with gold. It was a smaller number than expected, but only by 0.2, not a very big move. And you can see you're not getting, right now, you're not getting a fantastic response. You're getting some chop. You're basically just getting chop. Okay. 60.7 was expected, and now it's moving up a bit. It's moving up a bit. It was negative. You would have had a 6-tick bracket, so you'd just be getting filled right about now. Okay, don't forget that you'd have a bracket on your trade. Now, gold also has a humongous, a large trend. Gold has a large trend. But if you watch this trade right now, or a potential report, you're not getting a great response to it. Moved up a little, not much profit there. Not much profit there. So that's why I'm not that interested in trading it right now. Okay. Now the ES might be something to look at for this trade down the road. But even the ES, I mean, you're not like you're getting a deep, not bad of a move. Okay, gold chopping around still, definitely chopping around. ES might be a better choice for final, for manufacturing PMI, it's called. So ISM manufacturing, we have a setup that we're going to test today. Now gold's moving a little bit. Okay, would you have stayed in that long? Maybe not. It's still, you're looking at a total of 10 ticks from when we started looking at the middle of the candle. That's about a 4-tick profit. Okay. Let me turn the recorder on. I'm sorry, I didn't have it on before. Gold looks like it wants to test the high. So you have a an extremely large gold trend this morning. Okay. You have a large gold trend. If ISM data is negative, there's certainly a chance that the trade's going to work pretty well today, right? If the ISM data is negative, it's possible. But it hasn't been working for a whole year. It's been a $75 trade. Maybe it'll come back. So look, I think it behooves us to do our testing and to see if our testing has validity. I think today that's what we need to do. And that doesn't mean with the trap trade, you don't have to trade the trap trade live to see if the setup is valid, because a trap trade is different than a breakout trade. A breakout trade sometimes doesn't, and if a breakout trade that isn't traded live doesn't take into account slippage. A trap trade, because you're trading in the opposite direction, there is very little slippage in most trap trades. So let me choose the right strategy. You choose trap trade. Our setup is we're using, the most important thing is to set your positions to 1 and 1 if you're just trading 2. The stop loss position should be last fill price. And then, so you have 1 position, position 2 is set to a 1, and then your tiers are your orders. And my first order is 12, and my second order is 18 ticks. My preparation time is I'm taking 10 seconds to prepare the trap trade, because there is volatility before the trade. So GCISM, we don't have to label it trap because we're in the trap strategy. Contraction doesn't count. It was never finished, never enable contraction ever. So the thing you're concerned with, the bracket center, price at the time, that's the price where we're starting our orders to be placed from. That's like what's the current price? That's what that means. That's where the brackets are being set, and the orders are the brackets, the tiers. Wait for spike. It just happens to do with a safety measure where the stop is always on the chart. That's a default value right now. Positions 1 and 1, 1 and 1. Average price bars is a default value. You don't change it. Stop loss position should be last fill price. Our stop is 20 ticks. Our first tier is 12 ticks. Our second tier is 18 ticks. Now, the issue today is the behavior of gold has such a strong trend that there is a certain risk to trading gold, because it may just go up no matter what. Okay, it might just go up no matter what because of the trend. So I'm not, it's not a family money trade, and I'm not all that interested in risking $400 when gold has such a large trend. Okay, the trend is just too large. It adds a tremendous amount of risk to a trade. The worst enemy of a trap trade is the fact that you could just move in one direction right through your stop, and that will take you right out of the trade. That would be a very good breakout trade. That would be a very good breakout trade. But why are we not trading the breakout today? Why is this not a family money trade today? because over the past 11 trades, it's only made $75, not counting expenses. Okay. So we'll let the trap trade, we'll test the trap trade today. We've got 4 family trades this week that will trade live. 400 bucks, a little bit risky in my opinion, with such a strong trend in gold. 240 ticks. Okay. It could work perfectly. If it works perfectly, that's awesome. Then we know for next month we have a really strong setup. But I often like to do at least one test on live market data of my setup. And I don't have to apologize for that. I don't ever have to apologize for any decisions that I make in the room. The nice thing about the trap trade is if it's working based on the fact that the trap trade has very little slippage, and I'll show you why when it takes place. So we still want to check our time sync, okay? Time sync is still important. So we check our time sync by going to the website time.is. And our time is looking good. Time is exact. Now, if gold was not trending so strongly, I'd probably be willing to take the risk on this trade. But my concern is in a trade that hasn't been working well, as a breakout, today is a very possible day that it could burst because of the trend. If you get slightly negative ISM numbers, although I think they'll probably be positive, you could get a burst to the upside as gold currently is making new highs. So the level of risk today is higher than normal, in my opinion. So what's going to happen at 10 seconds before 10 o'clock? I'm going to have orders above the current price, and I'm going to have orders below the current price. And actually, I'm watching the ES on the right. At 10 seconds to 10 o'clock before the news, I will have orders placed above the price. They will be sell orders, and I will have buy orders below the price. The thing that we're looking for is a reversal, a fill in one direction, and then a complete reversal. Okay? So that's the story about this trade. While it has had more winners than losers, the last 5 months have been trending very poorly in terms of the winner levels, okay? And the losers have been bigger. So we are looking for a different setup. The setup over the past year has not returned a good profit. Doesn't mean the setup is gone forever, but it means we may need a temporary new setup to see if we can make this trade work again, work in a way that'll give us money. $75 profit in 11 trades, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. So that's the reality with this particular report. That's why this report is not a family money trade. Okay? Everybody get it? Everyone's really quiet this morning. And I'm watching the ES on the right. You could see the trend in gold, very powerful to the upside. Normally, when gold is behaving properly, which it really hasn't been for many months, when gold is trading properly, if the news is bad, in other words, if the ISM orders are down, if the spending is down, that normally makes gold move to the upside. If the news is good, then the possibility is that gold should move to the downside when it's behaving the way it used to. And I say used to because gold has not been behaving properly for quite a while. Consistently, it's been inconsistent. And that makes gold very difficult when it's inconsistent. My gut feeling is that the news should be good because all the markets are opening all over the country. Orders should be up. So it theoretically should push gold down. There's my orders. In 6 seconds, the news is going to come out. Okay. The news is negative. It should burst gold up, and it really isn't. But it filled me. Let's see what happens. It filled me with one order on the upside. Now it filled a second order. Now is gold going to pull back and give me a profit? Right now you can grab a profit. Okay, $40, $60. It's pretty choppy. The news is mostly negative. The important news is quite negative. Okay, quite negative. Which leads me to think you would have had a target one winning breakout trade. The trap trade is struggling, but I think ultimately I'd be surprised if, well, I could be wrong. Gold might just go straight up because of the trend. Because of the trend. But it's, you could see it's struggling. Look at the ES. ES could be the index to trade on this trade. Look at the ES, and that's why I wanted to watch it. The trap trade currently is not working. It did give you a quick moment or two to grab a profit, but it looks like it's really going to struggle to get to that second level. You can cancel, you can combine your orders, your profits. Doesn't look like they're going to get anywhere near down that low. Move them up a little bit. So you're in the trade. You're not getting stopped out yet, but if it keeps moving up, you will. You will. Because that's the enemy of the trap trade, is a continual move in one direction. I probably would not, if I was trading live, I probably would not have taken a quick $80 profit. I probably wouldn't have risked 400 to take a quick 80. I still think that the trap trade setup is a good setup. I like the setup. Even if it doesn't make money today, I still like the setup. Now watch. Gold is struggling to hit the stop, okay? And now, when you have a trade that hasn't been working one way or the other, you probably want to get out, right? Don't you want to get out, shrink your stop, and get out with a small profit and wait for the next trade? So the trap trade could have given us roughly 140 bucks. And I think the breakout, now ES is fascinating. the breakout, let's take a look at something. So I think like I said, our trap trade setup worked. I mean, it clearly worked. Okay. So the trap trade is probably what will change to going forward to see how it works. Now look at the price going up now. I'm going to let this record just for a minute or two. But let's look, what we could do is look at the range chart to see if the breakout trade would have worked. I believe, did anyone trade the breakout trade live with the DMM setups? I think it would have worked. But I need to analyze the charts first to be 100% certain. Anybody or no? I mean, look, it's hard to take this trade live as a breakout when the breakout hasn't been working. So I'm not surprised that no one took it. I said the possibility of it working today might work because of the trend in gold. Gold's up over 200 ticks. Okay. It's up 200, more than 250 ticks since 6 p.m. last night. Okay, let's look at the recording for a second, real quick. So ISM, manufacturing, watch. What I'm going to look for is ignore the trap trade and let's watch the breakout to see what would have happened with a breakout today. Keeping in mind, you can't fault yourself for not taking the breakout when it's not made any money all year. Okay, it's made no money. So you can't lose any sleep by not taking it. So let's look for the current price. Our order would have been on the chart right now. So the current price was 40. Okay. The current price was 40. Right here. Right there. And it pops. Remember, you have a 6-tick bracket. So your order is 1793. Your order is 1793 to go long. It goes to 1793.60. Okay. 1793.60. You have a 10-tick stop. You're long with 1793. So you'd make your first target. So I believe the breakout would have worked minimally for target one. Minimally for target one. The stop has to get down to 1792 to stop you out. 10 ticks from 1793. And it does not go there. Okay. Not initially. Up, right there, you would have been stopped out. So it was a target one, an 8, possibly an 8 to 10 tick winner if you took the breakout, depending on slippage. Okay, depending on slippage. So I think because of the way this trade has been working out as a breakout trade, I think the trap trade in the long run for the future is something that we should consider seriously for the next 3 to 4 trades. For the next 3 to 4 trades. Okay. Yes, Chantal, I agree. I mean, because of gold's trend, I really wanted to test it one time because the gold trend was a little bit, added a little bit extra risk. That's all. Okay. So trap trade to me looks like a potential winner for next month. I wouldn't yet call this, we can't call this a family money trade at this point in time because it just hasn't been successful with a large enough amount of money, but it's potentially still a winning trade. Okay. It could be a winning trade if the trap trade continues to work as well as the testing shows that it's going to. All right. Anybody have any questions? Sometimes what we do is test, and sometimes what we do is trade. And it really depends on market conditions and what's going on. And that's how I make my decisions. So, you know, if you're watching on YouTube and you're interested in learning how to trade this method, you know, give us a like, sign up for our YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell so you know the next time we're going to be streaming live. You can also go to our website at www.10minutetrades.com and you can join our trade room. Okay. This week, you can come into the trade room for free. Anybody can come in this week. Anybody got any questions? Anybody in the room with a question? Anybody confused? Anybody? Now's the time to ask. We only have one event today. Tomorrow we've only got one event. Also, it gets busier on Wednesday. Thursday, a little bit busier. It's not a super busy week, but there's big trades this week. You've got API tomorrow, ADP on Wednesday, natural gas on Thursday, jobs report on Friday. So you got some good, serious trades this week. We trade events. That's how we do it. So we're not sitting in the trade room all the time. We trade on a specific schedule. That's our method. That's our DNA. And that's what we do. All right. I don't see any questions. Mark, I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody, thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed a taste of what we do. And if you come into the room all week, you'll definitely get to see us trade live real money, because that's what we're always looking forward to doing. This month is unusual, different. We're trying a new method, family money trading. So a little bit less live trading, but a little bit more positive trading, in my opinion, because we're taking the best of the best and we're going to trade them live. All right, folks. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care and thanks for coming. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades, and I'll see you tomorrow.